All right, I'm trying to put the finishing touches on this wing in particular. The other one, I can probably put them on both wings, but anyway. This point here is just a bolt stud that provides the pivot point for the aileron. The aileron's right here. Here's one I prepared earlier. So this aileron will slide onto that bolt right there. The nut, castellated nut with a split pin, will be located in this hole in the aileron, and we need to do that bolt up. And it's the same on the other end of the aileron as well. That's all pretty straightforward and pretty simple. But I'm deviating from the drawing, which is why I'm showing you this. The next thing in line would be a reinforcing ring, wherever you can put it, but about there somewhere, with a doily over the top, and one of these cover plates that would clip onto that ring. So to put the aileron on, you just simply remove that by sliding it on these spring pieces. Reach in through there, and you can reach the head of the bolt. The nut has still got to be reached through the hole in the aileron, but that's okay. That's what we're trying to achieve here anyway. I'm not using that method. It's heavy, it's relatively ugly, but it gives you plenty of room. No question about that. And for most people, that would probably be good enough, that method. Not for me. What I intend doing is get one of my little tuits, which we made earlier. We made them for another purpose, but that's okay, I'm going to make more. And we glue that down right about there, about opposite the end of this bolt here. Yeah? And then, believe it or not, I've already made some doilies, which will cover that sort of just like that. Glue it down, all the rest of it, do what we've been doing all along. Then get my trusty soldering iron and melt that hole. So take the doily away and we'll just wind up with a hole. That's all I'm going to have. Then to cover the hole up, I just put a plastic grommet, preferably one like this if I can find more on the internet, and bung that in there. That's all you're going to see with a doily over the top. The doily won't be over the top of this. You'll be able to pull that out anytime you want and get at the head of this bolt. Now if you reach in with a deep socket, that's my ratchet, and there's my socket. I've already tested it, but it will fit through the hole. Let's assume this is glued down. You can put this in and it will reach the head of the bolt. Okay, so you can work it that way. If you then put another one of those through the hole in the aileron and reach back here, you can actually tighten the nut. You can't move these very well, but you can move the whole aileron to do the nut up to the right tension. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. Like I say, I'm only showing you because it's a deviation from the drawing. I'm going to carry on and do that. I'll do it. I'll actually wind up doing it to both wings. The other end the other bolt up the other end, which there is one at the outboard end of the wing, it will be covered by a similar thing. Let's get you down here where you can see. This is the wingtip. It'll go on here somewhere, and look at that. You've got another one where you can reach the same socket in and reach the head of this bolt and do the same thing up this end. I'm actually going to install this aileron temporarily at the moment, because on the top of the aileron, let's turn it over, along here, where you probably can't see, now you probably can, along this edge, I want the tape on the wing, down the far end of the wing, to be in line with this tape. I don't want to put this on and that separate, and then they don't look right, they don't join up with each other. I don't want to do that. So that's my task for this morning. Okay, so the aileron's going on temporarily. All right, let's have a bit of a midweek update. It's Wednesday, it's cold, it's very windy, and I'm working on the final side of the second wing. So I've done 3 sides. I'm on the final side, which happens to be the top of the left wing. So anyway, let's have a bit of a look. I've got a couple of bits and pieces I want to show you, and I'll turn you around. Okay, here's what I'm actually working on. I'm basically down to putting these 2 tapes on. This one along the bottom of the trailing edge, which will cover these tapes. It'll cover the bottom of these tapes and be glued along like that. And there's another one up there that'll cover the front of these tapes. I've still got to cut this piece out, and this is where one of the hatches goes, one of the panels. I've also, on the other wing, I discovered a bit that I was missing. I've still got to put this trailing edge tape on, but I need the wing right way up, because I want to put the top on first so that it lines up with this aileron. I've put the aileron on so that the trailing edge tape will indicate exactly where I need it on the wing itself. Over here, I've added another to it. This is so that I can gain access to, sorry about that, I hope I didn't make you sick. Let's go back to the original wing again for a second. This is where the interplane strut connects with one small bolt. One 1032 bolt connects the trailing edge of the interplane strut, and one number 5, I think, 516 bolt connecting the front. So that I can gain access to this bolt, I've had to cut a hole in here below the bolt so that I can reach in with a socket and do this bolt up. And that's what I've just done to the other wing. The outstanding work on this other wing is to do the 2 more shrinks, so the one at 300, one at 350, and then it'll start the painting process. Yeah, this will be cut out with my trusty soldering iron so that I can reach through with the socket and do up that interplane strut. in the life of the aeroplane, I may even only have to access this, you know, once. In my lifetime, I'll only probably have to access it once. And it'll just have a bung, rather like this one. Believe it or not, this is to gain access to the pivot point for the aileron. There we go. This plastic bung will go in there. Now I think, I don't know, that's a 25mm hole. I think this bung is for a 30mm hole. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll know when I once I cut it out. And that just bungs back in there. That's never going to fall out. No way. Yeah, just the big handhole thing looks just gunky and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But anyway, that's where I'm up to and what I'm working on right now. Now, yes, we need to work on the fuselage. I'm actually doing some filling work here. The fabric needs to come from wherever I decide to start it down and in a nice straight line to this line. Yeah, so it'll come down straight to this line, do an angle change, come down here, another angle change, and so on. Now, this wasn't right. This would have had no support for the fabric right where the engine is, which is probably not the best, probably the best idea I've ever had. So I filled this with balsa and glued it on to the fiberglass, and now I'm filling with some body filler the places that need a little bit filling and support. Now back here at the back, I've also done a similar thing here where the fin blends to the fuselage. That's pretty much perfect. I can probably make it a little bit better, but it's pretty good. So that's the update for where we're at right now, and I'm almost to the stage of taking the undercarriage off. Almost. I've got to do. I want to do this filling work first and get that out of the way. I don't want to have the fuselage jacked up and I'm trying to you know, do this filling. It's just that's not going to work very well. But anyway, let me get on with this. I'll mark up where I need this tape and glue that on, and that'll be one of the last jobs on this wing. I will turn it over and I will put that same to it, the same as I've done on that wing. I'll put it on this wing as well, which obviously will be directly underneath there somewhere. I think I've done the drain holes in each of the bays. So it's really only that round thing, which really takes, 5 minutes to do. Anyway, I'll catch up with you towards the end of the week. All right, here's a quick little catch up on, this is the left wing. It's, for all intents and purposes, it's 99% of the way there. I've just sat this panel on while I show you what's going on. This is a landing wire for this wing. It would normally connect up to one of the cabanes, and it stops the wing from flopping on the floor when you're on the ground. I've just got some masking tape wrapped around it now so it doesn't damage the paintwork at all. But yeah, and these screws are just temporarily in there to show that they do fit and then there's no forcing to line anything up. There will be, down this hole here, there will be a little packer about this big, a little round packer that brings the interplane, it connects to the bottom of the interplane strut here and in that hole there on the rear main spar. This wing, well, it doesn't have the little panel. We've already brought the panel around, offered it up once and it fitted perfectly. But it does have the aileron temporarily mounted. Yeah, this wing is still slightly more advanced than the left one, but that's okay. The last little bit on this wing, and it is the last little bit, is to, and the reason I put the aileron on is to line up the trailing edge tape, this tape that runs along the back of the aileron, is to line it up here with the main plane. I'll mark it and then I'll install that. That's the last bit to be installed, is this tape that goes on the trailing edge here. And what is it, about, I don't know, 2.5 feet long or something? It's not very much, 3/4 of a metre, something like that. Not very much. This wing obviously is the same. I will sit the aileron on here just for sheer entertainment, my own entertainment. It will get the trailing edge marked and the trailing edge tape put on. It also needs the leading edge tape put on. Leading edge, it needs this side piece of tape. It'll be cut off. I want to make sure that it goes right around, overlaps the tape on the bottom. There'll already be a tape on the bottom, and it gets cut off after they overlap a little bit. There's plenty of tape there. So that has to be done. No big deal. And then it'll be glued on properly. So that's about it. I'll take these back off and put them away before they get damaged. Dun, 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 dun. Then there's no option but to carry on with the fuselage, with my filling and sanding at first. But these are all but done. So stand by. All right. Well, the two lower wings are just about there. I've got one little job to do on each one, and that's to put the last bit of tape on the trailing edge of the wing. I'll turn you around and show you what's going on. Here's the line that we're trying to line up. All I've done, okay, I've attached the aileron more or less in the streamline condition, just with a bolt and a couple of washers. It's not actually connected to anything. I then measured up from the trailing edge to the peak of these pinked bits, like that. Yeah, and then I transferred that over to the trailing edge here, which is this line here. So all I have to do is take a piece of 2-inch fabric and attach it to that line, with the peaks the same. Yeah. Then once the glue's gone off tomorrow or whatever, I'll iron it around the trailing edge and go tip the wing upside down and glue it to the other side. Yeah, so that's the same thing on both wings. This is the underside of that wing, so it's got to be turned over first. I want the upper surface to line up properly. If you have a look at the finished aeroplane, this is more or less one I've prepared earlier. Yeah, we'll come down here. you can see they really don't sort of line up very well. Well, that's how the bottom's going to look on mine. Now, nobody's going to get under there and have a look. There's no way. You can't, you're not going to climb underneath, lay on your back and, well, maybe some people will, I don't know. But anyway, that's what I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to get this to be a nice, neat, straight line on those wings. And that's how I've decided to do it. Again, up to you how you do it. But anyway, that might do us for this video. That sort of finishes the wings off nicely. There isn't anything that, well, I'll take you through that. The next step is to wash the wings with some degreaser, the Eco Clean, I think it's called, a pink coloured material, liquid. Give them a wash. We've still got to do the second and third shrink. I've still got to do the 300 degree shrink and the 350 degree shrink on both wings. I'll do that, I'll wash them, then I'll paint them the green colour with the diluted Eco Bond, the same as that aileron is. Then I can actually start the painting process. But no, it's been a long time coming, but that's it. Then there's no choice. There's no choice, we have to start. I've already started on the fin. I want to cover the fin as soon as I can. That'll be the first piece covered anyway. All right. As usual, you know the rules. Try and get your feet off the ground. Should be able to get our feet off the ground here where I live. It's a beautiful weekend. Today's lovely, very light winds, sun shining. Cold as all buggery this morning, but anyway, it's a pretty good day. Tomorrow, which is Saturday, and Sunday should be the same. We've got a big high pressure system over us. Nothing should be happening except cold in the morning and beautiful in the day. So okay, have a good weekend. Do whatever you get up to, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye now.